Yes, it's baffled.
Yes.
Which is good.
Look at that, man. Jesus Christ. Oh. 20 grand was spent on this engine. What's your opinion? Nom 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 nom. Good morning, you beautiful people. Good morning, Miss Gigi. I can show you guys the wonderful view we had now at the moat house. What a quintessential English countryside shot, very beautiful. Oh look, if we look through there, you can probably see Gigi. Hotel room was absolutely lovely. We had a very, very nice sleep, and we had some brekkie as well. Full English flight, managed to have it in the room, which was pretty cool. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna head down to reception, check out, and go and see Mr. Mick at Mad Ford Engineering. Hi everyone.
Back again.
We're back in the car. Me and Mrs. Gigi. Beautiful lady. We're gonna slowly wake up over those 11 minutes. And yeah, we'll see you down there in a sec. Look at that. Not only is Mick an exceptional mechanic, he's also an exceptional tea maker. You little legend. How you doing? I have to give you a cheers.
You're welcome, buddy.
How you doing, geese?
Good, good.
Back in the wonderful Mad Ford Engineering. I noticed the red RS turbo that was there is gone, and you've got this one instead.
This is coming as a PX, yeah. Lots of nasty wiring, which we've ripped out and started again.
Yeah.
Put it back to the way Henry intended. Somebody put a cross member in the front, hadn't bothered painting it, so we've painted that. I would give it a 7 out of 10.
They're so retro, aren't they? I love all the sort of the square binnacles and...
That's what's left of the old loom.
Oh God, yeah. So what's your plan really? To kind of return it to how it originally
Put it back
was?
exactly how it should be. Perhaps use it over Christmas, make sure that it's fine, and then move it
Stick
on.
it up for sale, yeah.
Yeah.
I've already asked Mick what he wants for it, and my missus has already told me off. She's like, no more cars. But I tell you what, one day I will own a Series 2 RS Turbo.
This particular car, I've built it as a memorial to a guy that died, unfortunately, a few years ago. This particular car has been in bits for 26 years. The car came painted. There was they'd actually glued the body kit on with sealer,
Oh God.
which was just wrong.
What's the mileage on this, Mick? 57.
57. Oh, check this out.
Look at that. If you know, some of the molders have probably never seen a tape holder. That is sick. Was that like optional extra back in the day?
No, that was standard.
Standard. Oh yeah.
EDI stickers.
God. And are the parts quite expensive now because they're so rare?
Extortionate.
Yeah. Have the wheels all been refurbished?
They came like that.
They're literally mint.
Mint.
Literally could eat your
Yeah,
dinner,
yeah.
and you wouldn't get any sort of dodgy
No.
bacteria. That is mint.
Original stickers, even down to the original cable ties again.
Restored in memory of Simon Hillier for David Lee by Mad Ford Engineering, September 2019. That's really nice of you, man. What sort of horsepower were these out standard?
132.
132, and this
Yeah.
is just standard horsepower?
Totally standard.
Cool, man.
Genuine new old stock spot lamps.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
This is ridiculous, Mick. Oh my God.
The Series 1 is a one car exhaust only.
Yeah.
You see where it goes, the exhaust actually passes through the cross member.
Yeah.
Where on a Series 2, they actually modified it and brought it around the cross member. But I asked John, I want it exactly the way it was at Ford. He's even crushed it the way Ford did, but I want it in stainless.
Yeah.
And that's what he's done for me.
Fair play, man. It's absolutely spotless. If you don't mind me asking, what would this roughly be worth in this current condition?
Had a good word with the customer and said, look, insurance purposes, this needs to be 45 to 50k. That's not what it's worth, I believe, but that's what you would have to pay to replace it.
To replace it in its current condition.
Yeah.
The fuel tank is absolutely spotless.
Fuel lines have been replaced, everything's shaped.
Considering the amount of sort of Japanese cars I see underneath, this is literally... I know you've obviously rebuilt it and restored it, but I mean, testament to yourself, it is fantastic, man.
Thank you, buddy.
I'll be honest, I wasn't a massive Ford fan growing up. I appreciated the Cozzies and I like watching WRC and stuff, but I wasn't a massive Ford enthusiast. But as time's gone on, I've really started to appreciate them.
Yeah.
Over here we've got a Mark II.
Yeah, Mark II,
Cool,
1978, I believe this one. A good sorted Mark II Escort. They're about 25 to 30 grand.
And a Mark 1?
A little bit more, depending on spec.
30, 40.
Yeah.
Crazy. And what's the plan with this one, Mick?
Full rebuild.
Pretty mad. If you guys look up here, Mick's actually got the whole side of the Mark II. There's the right-hand side there, and that's the left-hand side over there. How do you source those bits?
I think John got them from just the internet. It's having a 2 litre Z-Tech on throttle bodies.
Ah, cool.
With a Mazda 6-speed box. RX-8. Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Quite
Yeah.
a popular conversion now, I've noticed.
Yeah, nice and cheap. The Type 9, that 5-speed that Ford that made they're okay, but when you put a bit of horsepower up them, they just shit themselves.
Yeah. And obviously RX-8s now, you can pick them up. You can pick up the whole car for a few hundred quid.
Yeah, £100 for a gearbox.
Roughly how long would it sort of take you to get this back up to scratch?
12 months.
12 months. So that's it's a year project.
Yeah, and it's going RAC Vista Orange.
Ah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
it's having Colin McRae or Monty arches on the back, same on the front.
Quite sort of wide anyway.
Yeah,
the
it's
arches.
going wider still.
They still?
No, fiberglass. We're going aluminium on the new ones. The Monty arch is about another 1.5 inches wider.
Okay, cool. Obviously you have taken this out of the car, which we didn't film. This is the Mountune lump, which you guys have obviously seen in Pinky. Mick's just taken a few of the ancillaries off.
Coil cover can come off.
What's very cool about this as well, guys, we don't actually know what's inside, but if you read the old magazine articles, reportedly they spent £20,000 on this engine.
This has been done out of a solid billet of aluminium, and they've milled everything out. But what's good about this, it's a sliding throttle body. As long as they've got their specifications right on the dimensions of the holes, this can never go out of tune. And because there's no twist shaft, if you like, with any butterflies in, when it's at flat out, there is no restriction into the port whatsoever. Proper good motorsport stuff. It should be a 3-pin. Positive, 0 volts and a 5 volt reference back to the ECU.
Originally this was a completely stock RS2000 engine.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. We can tell when we get it a bit further down, we can check engine numbers to see if this engine actually came out of your car. The last 5 or 6 digits of the engine number should be the last 5 or 6 digits of the chassis number.
Yeah.
That's how Ford do it. So we can actually work out its heritage if it's the original. You can see it's had some TIG welding done on AN fittings, which is nice.
And quite a unique design, these coil packs.
It's used hell of a lot now, but back in the day it wasn't.
There's the little original Mountune plaques. You can see their address there. It's got a little serial number here, MTR038. Like Mick said, we weren't sure. Hopefully, we said it hasn't been rebuilt 38 times. Shall we show the guys the block as well? This isn't something that we've done. Unfortunately, the damage was already there when we bought the car.
Yes.
At some point, Mick and I have actually been discussing using a Galaxy 2.3 bottom end.
Yeah.
It's not sort of set in stone at the moment, but yeah, that is actually a piece of the block which has been liquid metalled.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal. At some point, someone's removed this engine and managed to snap part of the block off, which is actually a bit of a pain because we don't, well, Mick doesn't really want to use the block again, do you?
No, because of its relationship to the rear crank seal and the rear journal on the crank, I can't put my whole heart and soul into this engine.
So we are probably going to be looking at getting either another one of these blocks or a 2.3, which will give us a bit more capacity.
Yeah.
I've actually also been quoting that this engine had 250 horsepower because I read it in the magazine, but it was actually dynoed about 2 years ago at 204. You are beautiful. So are you.
I'm just excited to see where the money's gone.
Where the magic is.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get into what Mountune are all about.
Here we go. So these
nice
are
and clean.
Have a little look inside. Yeah.
It smells burnt. Oh, that's interesting. Someone's written blue on the inside.
Yeah, they got a little MT, which means there must be a set of Mountune cams.
I've just noticed it's got some very nice timing gears. It's got vernier timing gears.
Vernier pulleys.
Yes. Mountune F2.
Would these been reprofiled or billet?
These have been reprofiled because there's a Ford badge there.
Ah, yeah, you got a Ford badge, yeah.
These look like F2 maxi cams. It was a homologation that Ford put together with the, was it, I can't remember, was it Graham Spooner Racing, I believe?
Spooner, yeah.
Yeah, it was a two-wheel drive entry-level rally car, which obviously Mountune did a lot of work on the engine.
Yeah. Some people did tell us to kind of try and get the maxi arches, but I think because we've got original Cosy arches, it's best to leave it as it is.
Oh, there's no way you can cut off Cosy arches.
Although when you told me they were worth about $3,000, I was tempted.
Okay, so we've removed timing cover, we've moved the oil pump chain. We can see that we've got some very nice vernier cam chain. So we're just going to go ahead and pull the timing chain off, and let's pull the head off, and then we'll pull the sump off,
and then we can see.
And then we can see exactly what the crack is.
Yeah, what Monky's done. We are suspecting probably oil starvation.
I'm thinking because of the track use you do, it's going to be oil starvation. The sump has had some modifications for extra capacity, but I'm not sure what they've done inside for baffle wise. So
I'm expecting to see some sort of baffle plates around the pickup.
Let's hope so.
What's this little?
Okay, this is a little mock-up of what's going in my van over Christmas. Mark 1 Focus RS cylinder head. Mock me up some plates so I can convert the the Zetec to RS turbo manifold, and with the inlet as well, so I can use EFI inlet. Custom made 20mm plenum spacer. Then we've got a cheeky little Focus thermostat adapter, which will give me my water back for the turbocharger. So
next up, we're just taking the vernier pulleys off.
So what I'm going to do is mark those up, exhaust and inlet.
And then that's the
Timing chain, timing guide, your hydraulic timing chain adjuster.
ideal for engine rebuilding.
Exactly.
We have just found a piece of metal.
We've got more. We've got chunks. Yeah, we've got chunk. That looks like bearing material.
So that's the guide.
That's the cam chain guide.
Cam chain should come straight out, yeah?
Yeah, we'll put a new one on there.
Next up, Mix is going to be removing the camshafts.
Camshafts. So these are numbered. We've got left and right. They have to go back on because obviously that's line board.
Yep.
There's our camshaft.
That's one. So good, you can really keep yourself organised with that.
Absolutely. Inlet cams coming out.
These are actually solid lifters, but not the same as you get on the road car.
No. Oh, they've put lash caps on as well. There's a little lash cap. That's interesting. So I wonder how they changed the tappet gap. That's interesting. We'll have to look into that. That may be a shim. That's a shim off a Zetec.
Yeah.
You can actually see on there 3.95.
Yeah.
So that's what you change to give you the tappet gap clearance. Nothing on that one. We're just going to remove the throttle bodies, give us a bit more access to the ports. Fuel rails coming off, but the injector's still in.
We're not sure on the injectors what size they are.
We've got some very, very dodgy looking seals on the injectors.
Yeah, and you said there might, because one of the plugs was a little bit
One of the
fouled.
plugs was fouled. It was very, very wet, so I'm guessing that one of the injectors is leaking.
Mix also just noted it's actually got different fasteners on one end, so at some point someone has been in this engine, haven't they?
By the looks of it, I would guess that that's a Mountune
Original part.
original part,
And that's not.
and that's not.
Yeah.
It looks like they've been made out of one solid billet piece of aluminium.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very rare to find this setup.
There's not many people doing that. I mean, to make that out of a solid billet, that's quite impressive. So we can remove the standard, that's just a standard Ford fuel rail that they've used. It has been ported though. You've got porting marks in there, everything's been matched. If you look in the cylinder head as well,
You can see it's all
it's got
been ground.
lots and lots of nice porting.
You're actually saying you've got a really good chap that can do
Yeah,
some
we've got
vapor blasting.
we've got Sean at SP Vapor Blasting, quite local to me. He wants to get hold of the cylinder head, all the aluminium ancillaries, and vapor blast it to make it look brand new.
I'll chuck Sean's Instagram down here, so if you guys want to get in contact with him, feel free.
With an aluminium head, you always alternate from front to back. These are actually stretch bolts.
Which means you can only use them once.
Once, correct.
Mick's going to quickly show us what happens if you don't set your car
Set your
up.
car right. If you go over fuel or you over rev or over boost, this is what you will find.
So there's a valve missing.
There's a valve fell off.
Jesus Christ. Obviously that's gone into the pistons, compressed it, and that's the
Mullered
end
it good and
result.
proper.
I think we are good to take the head off.
Head off. All the valves are still in there, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
Nice coloration on the valves.
Let's have a look in here.
And I can see instantly which cylinder's gone.
That one.
Correct. If you look at the height of that piston against the height of that piston,
Yeah, it's dropped.
that one's dropped. So that's the difference in the shell bed material that's allowing the piston to go further
Which
down.
means that the most likely rod bearing is non-existent.
Yeah.
Which is probably what was coming out of here.
Yes. Yes.
If you guys kind of look here, you can see that that is obviously flush. This one here is slightly lower,
Down.
so I think Mick is on the money with that one. Top of the pistons, they look okay, obviously. Some
Yeah. You can
carbon
see.
deposits
You can
and
see
stuff.
exactly where the injector's been injected in.
Yeah.
I've got absolutely no wear in them whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we may get a little bit of water coming out. This has had some issues in the past.
It has, because look, and that is TIG.
TIG weld. This has had a failure in the past. I would say this has had a number 4 rod bearing or rod let go in the past.
Because they've actually repaired
And they've repaired the sump.
At some point, something has happened to this engine previously.
Someone's tried to get out.
So all the sump bolts have now been undone. We're just going to whip the sump off and see what's going on.
Oh,
Many baffles.
yes, it's baffled,
Yes.
which is good. That instantly tells me that the reason the engine has failed is just due to a bearing problem.
Maybe just because of age and not actually oil
Yep.
starvation.
Yep.
Look at that, man. Jesus Christ. That would definitely cause oil starvation.
Yes, indeed.
Jesus Christ. What about the crank? Oh. There's lots of fragments of metal in here. What you guys can see down here is that's obviously where the oil pickup goes, and then this is a baffled plate all around the pickup, and that basically make sure that the oil stays around the pickup where it needs to be and not around the rest of the sump.
As a little tip, I always do when stripping an engine, and never take it for granted that anybody's marked the rods. So I always use a dot punch and one. So that gives you know exactly where the rods come from.
Yep.
And then we spin the engine over and we'll do the other two.
Just explain to the audience why you do that, Mick.
So you know exactly that the right cap is going back to the right rod, and the right rod and cap is going back in the same hole that it came out of.
Okay.
Just good practice. Right, let's start off with the bad one. Now it looks like we've got ARP big end bolts in it.
Yeah.
My eyesight's not brilliant.
Yeah, ARP 2000.
There you go.
They are. We seem to have a bit of play on this rod. Yes, I think that's more than just a bit of play.
With these being an American company, they use American size fasteners. With your bolts in a couple of threads, and there is no shell left. So that's no doubt destroyed the conrod as well.
Yeah.
You can actually see on the crank journal there, it's actually melted what's left of the shell onto the crank. Let's pull out number 1 piston.
Piston out, cool.
It has got some very nice H-beam rods in it,
Yep.
which unfortunately that one is scrap. Okay, we're going to remove number 4. So there's our shell that's in number 4.
Which is what we should have seen on this one, but obviously the shell's disappeared.
Massive amounts of scoring.
Yeah.
No broken rings. Obviously we'll have to change the conrods as a match set. If you guys have ever done engine builds, STD doesn't stand for what you really think it stands for. It actually stands for standard. I can tell you now this crank's never been ground before. Perhaps we're the first people to take it apart.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
Quite possibly. I would not have expected to see standard forward bearings in a race engine, especially at 9,000 RPM. Let's pull out the remaining 2. Yeah, it's got damage going through it.
Yeah.
Also, when you're putting engines together, not only should you make sure that the engine is perfectly clean, you'll find that 99% of big end and main bearing shells have got a locating tag. Got to make sure that you get that in the right place.
Yeah.
Number 2, I was hoping to see a make on the pistons, but I can't see anything. 3.
Last but not least, fucked.
Yep.
I think is the,
That is the one word you could use.
for that, yeah.
Yeah. Very minimal wear.
Yeah.
To be honest, the fact that they're genuine forward bearings, I'm surprised it's lasted this long, to be honest.
Next up, we're going to be removing the main caps.
Yep.
And then
We can remove the
crank
crankshaft out. So number 5 cap out. We should have, there's our rod bearing, our crank bearing. We should have a thrust washer in there as well somewhere. Not bad at all.
You're going to see a little bit of wear just with age, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it does look pretty clean, to be fair.
A little bit.
Nothing bad.
General wear.
I want a bit more on there. But
Yep.
on the crankshaft.
One that we're interested in is a piece of bearing still
Welded
itself to that, yeah.
That's a clean one. And that's a not so clean one.
Fucked one.
Yes. And there we have the bare block.
Empty block.
Yeah, cool.
That's a half thrust that sits at the back. What happens with these, when you put your foot on the clutch, what you're actually trying to do is shove the crank out of the front of the engine. And what these do, these limit the amount of thrust that the crank's got forward and backwards. Yeah.
Next up, Mick's just going to take the oil filter off. So we've got all the components of the Mountune lump now nicely displayed on this bench.
I think we know our failure was obviously a bearing failure. It was just a pure wear and tear. The standard forward bearings, you revving it to 9 grand, good lad, has done its job. The block's scrap because of obviously that casting failure at the back.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to go 2.3, yeah. I think we're agreed on that.
From a Galaxy.
From a Galaxy.
Yep.
Crankshaft is pretty much toast due to the rod end failure that's welded what's left of the bearing onto the journal.
Yeah.
Mains are okay, just generally worn.
You guys can kind of see they're all perfect circles. And this one here is quite hard to tell on camera, but it is more like a sort of oval, isn't it?
Yeah. Cylinder head is good to go again. We'll obviously refresh it, we'll skim it, we'll do a triple valve cut on the valves, do what we've got to do. It's nicely ported. Cams will go again, they're nice. New timing chain, new oil pump timing chain. We'll get to the bottom of this mystery of the non-adjustable lifters as well, see what we can get to the bottom of them.
Main thing with the 2.3 is we can obviously run a bit more power.
Yes.
More air in.
And more torque.
Yes, which we like. Mick, absolute legend.
Respect, sir.
GG, legend. Mr. Cole, Mr. Mikey, ledge. As far as the engine goes, obviously back in the original article it said that 20 grand was spent on this engine. What's your opinion?
No.
No.
Yes, it's got some lovely slide plate throttle bodies. Can't see 20k.
No, it's had a fair amount spent on it, but
Yes,
not
it has.
quite that amount.
Unless Mountune charge £300 an hour,
But you got to guess, obviously, when they made the car, it was obviously good to put that kind of stuff in the magazine.
Yes,
it creates hype around the car, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I've built engines better spec than this for far less.
For less, yeah. One thing we can argue is now we're going to use sort of newer parts.
Correct.
Certainly make the engine more efficient and probably get it to a much better standard than it was originally.
Yeah.
We've actually got Mr. Sean here, quick little fist bump, who is the man behind the vapour blasting.
Sean's already done some for me. The vapour blasting process just makes them look brand new again. I mean, Sean will probably have to tell you more, but closes the pores of the aluminium, so if you do get it dirty, all you got to do is spray some brake cleaner on it, give it a wipe, and it's clean
kind
again.
of get that ingress.
Exactly.
Really cool. This has actually been sandblasted. Oh, you can feel the difference, can't you?
Yeah.
Feel that, it's nice and smooth.
Very cool. So what normally happens then with sandblasting, lads, it kind of opens the pores up.
It just smashes everything to bits.
And that's why when you touch it with like a dirty fingerprint, it leaves a mark.
there.
But obviously with Sean's technique, it leaves it mint.
Yeah.
Any gasket faces, anything like that, it will smash them to bits. So you got to have them re-skimmed or
But your process
whatever.
doesn't.
Don't harm anything.
Bye bye, you absolute lovelies. Have a good weekend, gents.
See you later.
Right, come on, you. You can tell we're at Mad Ford because there is a huge selection of awesome Fords here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that cheeky little video. It was really nice to kind of sort of break the engine down and see what the score was. Over the next month, Mick's really going to put some time and effort into it and, you know, see if we can kind of upgrade it and hopefully get it to last a little bit longer. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this cheeky little video. Massive thanks to Mick. If you guys give him a little follow, really, really appreciate it. And we will see you for the next episode real soon.